Now, I should warn you too, with it snowing here, we may have Wi-Fi interference, so you may lose me and have to carry the show a little bit.
It's not
But
first time.
I'll be back.
I'm a guy.
Okay.
I got white.
Gotcha. Gotcha. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to tonight's special live stream. You see that over here next to me. You all know who he is. Hello, Saint Nick.
Hello, Drew. Good to see you.
Good to see you as well, my friend. Hope you're doing well.
Very, very well, thank you. It's been a very, very busy few days, boy. We're just working our keisters off up here.
I'm sure. I mean, you know, it's inconceivable that one man travels the span of the entire world, almost what, 2.5, 2.75 billion children.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there has to be some spatial physics at work or something to I don't want you to give away the secrets, but I mean, you know, it's
I'd never
just
do that.
inconceivable. Oh, let me see here. We got my sister from another mother, Drew 2 up here from Scotland. There's Doc right there from Washington. There's Jan from Southern Ohio. Hello, dear. Hope you guys are all doing good. Now I know our Drew 1 has connections. It's Santa. Yeah, I'll tell you what, it was I didn't think, honestly, when I originally messaged him, I didn't think he was going to have the time to sit down and talk. I mean, there is a lot of stuff going on up at North Pole, Alberta. He's been a busy man. He was out visiting malls and stuff the other day, and it's like, and when he come back and said he would love to come in and join us, it's like, oh my goodness gracious, I have got the man himself coming on my stream. Talk about
just
a
remember,
childhood dream.
I'm the original multitasker, my friend.
Amen to that. Amen to that. Hey, Jay, good to see you, bud. That's Jan's husband. He's actually one of your special little helpers right there. He's a delivery driver for one of the major delivery companies down here.
Wonderful.
So, 80 deliveries a day, 50 deliveries a day, 70 deliveries a day.
Yeah, everybody's
busy
working
man.
hard.
So, tell us about what you do, Santa. Tell us, give us a little verbal behind the scenes of what goes on there with you in a year's time.
In a year's time, my goodness. Well, do
you even get a vacation? Do you go back to work on the 26th?
The work never stops, but I do take a breather. It's not healthy to not take a break. I mean, you got to have some me time. All of us need that. So I'm no exception. I do take some time with Mrs. C. She's the love of my life, and I have to make sure that she's happy too. So we do, as you know, being I'm a world traveler, we tend to be homebodies when it comes to taking a break. So just being able to put our feet up and relax for a little while, have a nice cup of eggnog or a hot toddy or whatever, and it's quite pleasant. As far as work goes, though, it's a never-ending task. Keeping in mind that the number one thing that we're doing here is we're trying to spread the Christmas spirit, and the giving is so important. So trying to let everybody know that, and I'm going to emphasize this, that we do encourage the spirit of Christmas, but Jesus is the reason for the season. So we don't want to lose track of that. Right from the very beginning, it's that spirit of giving and to being able to spend time with our families. It's so important. So yeah, Drew, that's pretty well it. We keep very busy with the making of toys. We farm stuff out too. You see, a lot of the toys aren't wooden hobby horses and stuff anymore. You wouldn't believe what kids are asking for now. I mean, we're talking Nintendo Switches and all kinds of Polly Pockets and plastic things. So many video games. My goodness, they're really asking for a lot of video games. Our tech shop's going crazy.
That Doc, that may be a little hard for Santa to. I don't think Santa can transport weapons across. No.
No.
I think he still, even though he's a Canadian citizen, I think I think transporting a 7-barrel 30-millimeter GAW would probably autocannon would probably be a little bit against the law for him. Right now he has, government agencies like NORAD and the Strategic Air Command bases and stuff like that escort him. But if they see a 7-barrel GAW sticking out of the back of the sleigh, they may arm weapons.
Yeah, I don't think so, Drew. No way. And you got to remember, we're a little tighter here in Canada than the United States.
Yeah. Hey, KG, good to see you. There's KG from Kentucky. She just came in to join us. There's Joe Shipley. Hey, Joe, good to see you. So how many elves do you have working at the shop up there?
One of the misnomers that we only have one shop. We don't. We have multiple shops. If you were to go across the YouTube and the internet, you'll find we've got shops in Lapland, in Canada, some in Alaska. We have to spread them out because there's the one workshop is just not big enough. The world's gotten bigger. So Drew, we got literally thousands and thousands, countless that are working on this.
Oh, wow. Doc, it's really interesting that you made a remark about Russia. If you would have watched the video that I put out yesterday, I think it was, with NORAD and SAC, the Strategic Air Command, one of the officers at one of the NORAD bases was talking about, Santa's flight plan in the past, leaving the North Pole, and the first place he goes to is Russia. So, or the first place he flies over is Russia. So it's really kind of funny that you mentioned the Russian thing. And you mentioned Jesus being the reason for the season. Now, there's a lot of stories on television and stuff that have been, popping up since the 60s and 70s. And they talked about the fact that when you first hooked up with the Kringles and you started delivering their presents and stuff like that, you did it not maybe a daily basis, but a regular basis. And then you chose that one specific day, December 25th, or nighttime, December 24th, to deliver presents. Is because of the holiness of that day already existing why you picked that day, or why did you pick that day?
Well, you got to understand that Christmas, the date for Christmas, was something that was adjusted over time, many centuries ago, to compensate for the growing Christian movement, and a lot of the Christians that had beliefs in deities that weren't actually factual, but they had these holidays like Saturnalia. It was easier just to celebrate the birthday to go around that specific date that they were used. The celebration of Christmas isn't the same in every country. The Ukrainians have a different date to celebrate it than we do, as do many others. It's something that has changed through time, and because of our various cultures, we try to adjust to everybody. I have someone that's going to be crucified right now because he is putting snow down my neck. Excuse me, I've got to deal with an elf.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. Please. Right, then Christmas film trivia was a nice surprise. Santa himself. Oh, what was you doing? Christmas film trivia tonight? We done Christmas film trivia on Monday evening, or no, Wednesday evening. I think Santa has to whoop on an elf right now because of the snow thing. Let me see here. I will make sure, Jan, and ask him the question about the fruit and nuts in your stocking. I seen that question a few seconds ago. Oh, let me see here. What else? Tag team always gets the big guest. This is the biggest guest, Joe. This is the biggest guest. You know, I've had, you know, Peter Sharako on the old channel from Tombstone. He also does a lot of the stuff that Dirty Dan does for the movies and stuff out there in Arizona with Arizona Ghost Riders, doing the prop supply and stuff. But man, I'll tell you what, to actually get Saint Nick from North Pole, Alberta, that blew me away. I've been looking forward to this. This has always been kind of like a childhood dream for me. Sitting down actually talking to Santa.
Oh, he is so on my naughty list.
Yeah, I bet that snow was very cold going down your
really
warm back
cold.
with you.
It still is.
I bet it is. So Jan from southwestern Ohio is asking if she could start getting fruit and nuts back in her stocking again.
Stockings. That's a favorite subject of mine.
Stockings?
Yes. Stockings, my goodness. Many families have been traditionally making the stocking portion of the Christmas celebration a kind of a separate part of the Christmases. Some of the houses that I've gone to, I love the way they're doing it. They'll have the main tree, and so the big gifts go under there. Then they might have a smaller tree, and they'll have the smaller gifts. Then they got the stockings. The stockings are the things where you're going to have fruit and nuts. Everything has a meaning because you're talking about, you know, the bounty, Christmas, and being, you know, having food in your tummy. A coin. Traditionally, you used to put a silver coin in. Any coin, the coin will do. To emphasize wealth. Some candies, chocolate bars. A lot of cases, there's different toys and different items that the recipient will enjoy. And for some of the older folks, they like those scratch and lose tickets, which I call them scratch and lose. You mostly lose on
scratch and lose, yeah.
Yeah, and they are very popular being put into the stockings. And they typically will spend half an hour, 45 minutes with their stocking alone. And it's become quite the little morning tradition for many people.
Well, I personally want to thank you for, you know, even though that nasty diabetes decided to invade my life 6 years ago, I want to thank you for still not forgetting that Reese cups are my favorite thing in the world, and there's always Reese cups in my stocking. I just eat them a lot slower now than I used to.
Yeah, Reese's cups are real.
Oh my God, I know, especially the Reese trees. And now Trapper Paul, he is on here with his son Weston, and they have us on the big screen, and we were wondering if you could say just a real quick something to Weston, since he's watching with his dad.
How old is Weston?
How old is Weston, Paul? He's 4.
A 4-year-old. Oh, good age. Well, Merry Christmas, Weston. I hope you have just a wonderful, wonderful holiday. May you have lots of things to eat, lots of wonderful things under the tree. Especially enjoy the time with your family. That is the most precious gift of all. Merry Christmas, Weston.
Merry Christmas, Weston. Let me see here. What else? Sorry I'm late. Lottery tickets are a tax on the stupid.
That's why I call them scratch and lose.
Scratch and lose, yeah.
I see polar bears.
Here. Please don't forget to ask.
Polar bear is awesome. I just love that polar bear is funny, and he's not a standard polar bear. This polar bear likes candy canes and candies, and oh my goodness.
You know, I was actually going to make some hot chocolate tonight and drink out of my my pretty little pewter cup over here. And I told my wife, I said, no, I'm not going to pull any candy canes off the tree yet to put in my hot chocolate. I've got enough broken up peppermint and stuff around here. We'll save the candy canes, and we'll do that later. I'm very well known for my cocoa.
That mint, a proper hot chocolate made with real cocoa and then mint. Magnifique.
Magnifique. So nice to see. Oh, sorry. Hold on, guys. I got emails popping up here over the chat. All right, let me see here. I have to go, but nice chatting with you, Santa. Sucks you can't bring me the autocannon, but that's fine. I'll take a DB5 instead. Doc, get out of here. Santa's not bringing any weapons.
I see this stuff that's coming up, and I think back to the 1950s, and the gifts that were under those trees would never cut it today. I mean,
oh my gosh, tell me about
it. The chemistry sets with real radioactive isotopes. The stuff that we had, it was not cool.
Oh, let me see here. No toys when I was a kid. I only had fruit and nuts, candy canes, and a quarter. Best stocking gifts ever.
They are awesome. I love stocking gifts.
I got to agree. We love doing our stockings first before we do any other gifts on Christmas morning.
Yep.
And sometimes those are the most amazing gifts, because you really don't got to work to unwrap them. You just sit there and you take turns going around the room and emptying your stocking out one thing at a time. And
it cultivates that family time where you're actually interacting with each other and having a good laugh. And yeah, it's wonderful.
Terry says, Santa, please bring me a new Silverado pickup. I've been a good girl.
I always say this to the older folks, and I relish when they ask this. Bring me a truck, or bring me a car, or whatever. Lots of money. I says, well, you're at that stage in life where what you need to do is you need to get some pictures of whatever it is you want, and get yourself a piece of paper and write it down in detail, and take those pictures and the information on that, slap it on your mirror in your bathroom or on your fridge, and look at it every morning and every night. I'm talking to the adults now. Every morning and every night. And within a year, you'd be surprised if you have that or not. Most cases, you end up getting the thing that you want. Within reason, of course. You know, a flight to Mars and stuff just won't work.
So it's kind of like the subliminal motivation.
It is.
Thing.
It's essentially goal setting, but it's done. A lot of people don't know that a goal is a dream with a time limit set on it, and your brain cannot tell whether it's actual real time or not. So what you do is you have to fool your brain into thinking that you actually have it in your possession. It is December 25th, 2023, and I have in my possession, and write it down that way, and detail what it is that you want. And you read every morning and every night. It goes through your conscious mind into your subconscious mind, through your physical form into action, and action causes results. That's how you, as an adult, can attain that wonderful thing you want.
I missed a couple of people coming in. Big Fish, welcome, my friend. Hope you guys are healthy and well down there in Georgia.
Or
can't wait to see you again.
This stuff they're putting in chat. Yes, you want to spend more time with me. That's good, JJ.
Yep. Jan and Jay were just actually here a few months ago. Because I don't know if you noticed, I know we've been chatting for a week or so. I don't know if you've actually had a chance to look over my channel, but I also do a lot of stuff with paranormal. And one of those is we host, or our group hosts, a couple paranormal conventions here in Michigan. And Jan and her husband Jay came up a few months ago to attend one of them. So that was very nice to actually meet some members of my family here on the channel. Big Fish down in Georgia, I met him last year. He was up here for a little bit, and it was very nice. It's always nice when I get to meet folks. I can't wait for him to return. We sat out on the back deck and just chatted and had a good time together. I can't wait to see him again. And that goes for a lot of you others in here too. I can't wait to actually get a chance to meet you and hang out and do things with you. Now, were you, how do I ask this eloquently? Were you the first Santa, or does it go from mantle to mantle to mantle as time goes by?
You said it. It's from mantle to mantle to mantle. It's the first Santa, of course, was Saint Nicholas, and the spirit and his whole mission has just continued on through the ages and manifests itself into individuals who wish to take up the Santa Claus cause, and they essentially become Santa Claus.
Very nice, very nice. Oh, let me see here. So how did you and Mrs. Claus meet?
How did we meet? She walked in my front door and I fell in love. I was like a little puppy. She just, oh yeah, it was like, wow. A friend of mine said, I've got this movie I want to watch. Can I bring some libations over and a friend? And I said, sure. And sure enough, he walks in the door and I was expecting some other guy to be with him. there was this goddess, this beautiful creature. Oh my goodness! And I turned into a puppy dog, and I followed her around. It was terrible. And within 6 months, we were married.
Wow. Wow. That's awesome. That's awesome. It actually sounds a lot like me and my own wife. I think we were only together like 6 months, and it got to feeling too right. And I actually broke up with her. And after about a week of not seeing her, not hearing from her, I called her and told her to come over, and she wasn't at the house 5 minutes, and I was down on one knee. So I told her, you know, I broke up for this reason, and I didn't realize at the time that that was the whole reason that I picked you, is it felt too, and frankly, I don't want to live without that too right.
Fully understand. Yep,
So,
I'm the same way.
Really honest, I have no complaints given age and mileage steps. Perfect woman for you. Yeah, believe me, Jan, I know. For us to get married on June 25th and me go into a diabetic stroke, or me go into diabetic shock on July 5th and be put in coma for a week and a half, and she could have very easily walked away. She could have annulled the marriage, say, I didn't sign up for this. She sat right there at my side. She talked to me every day, and until they made her leave the hospital to go someplace, since I was in intensive care, she didn't leave. She was right there. You were married on June 27th. Yeah, we were married on June 25th, and I went into diabetic shock on July 5th.
Oh my.
Yeah. And then Big Fish, we actually got married on him and his wife's anniversary. So there's 3 of us in here, you know, that all share that end of June marriage thing. So what do you do besides the toy shop and the delivery? What else do you do around your area up there, just to give folks an idea of how busy you are during, you know, the end of November till, you know, Christmas time?
Oh wow. Yeah, it seems like it's never ending, but the thing is, it brings me such great joy to be able to do it. Whether it be within our own community, we of course deliver presents door to door. We actually, instead of a sleigh, we walk about and deliver the toys to the children. And my elves, of course, are great help, and that's where I get pretty well lambasted with the cookies and milk and eggnog and candies and whatnot. It's quite filling. Like I said, I tend to swish a lot by the time I finish that one. I work with the community leagues as a volunteer to bring some joy to the different families, get some photos done. I work with different veteran groups and helping them out. Toys for Tots it's a huge thing with us here. It's Santa's Anonymous. It's you know, Boyle Street. I can go on and on, all the different organizations that I've got a hand in. And not to mention, of course, visiting over at the mall and spending several days. I usually get about 5 or 6 full days in at the mall, where I can actually sit down with the children. And gosh, I can't count how many newborns I've held the last 3 or 4 weeks. Probably 2,000, maybe.
Oh my Lord.
I had photos taken with a complete hockey team. That was kind of fun. You know, so
Really?
oh yeah, it was tremendous. One of the things, one of the things I got the biggest kick out of. They every 3 months, the West Edmonton Mall actually has one child elected to be the mayor of the mall, and the mayor of the mall comes from children who are either have a physical, mental, or social issues that they can't get on the regular path. They need some help, be given some motivation and some joy in their lives, and they are put up. They're selected by different organizations for the honor of being the mayor of the mall. And this young lad, Mr. What was his name? Last name was Cardinal, Ryland Cardinal. Wonderful young man. Met him at the mall. We have a train. It's actually a wheel train. It's like an old steam engine with the coal car and all the different cars for kids and adults to sit on and cruise through the mall at Christmas time. And so we had that there, and they decided to put me in the coal car. They put Santa in the coal car. Do you see the irony in that? And of course, Ryland looks at me and goes, that won't do. And he joined me, and the two of us cruised the mall in the coal car. And of course, they give him, $1,500 to spend with his family in the mall, and the passes to all the attractions and whatnot, and certificate saying he's the mayor of the mall. And it was a lot of fun. So that's one of the last week. It was tremendous. So yeah.
Now,
stuff.
Tony just asked, how often do you get kids that are horrified by the whole sitting on Santa's lap?
Oh, there's a point that I love to talk about. The parents need to be trained. You do not want to put your poor baby in a position where it's traumatized. And many parents, all they want is that picture, and they think it's tradition. The first picture of the baby's got to be screaming and crying in Santa's lap. No, it doesn't have to be that way. Oh, no. I don't like a baby crying on me. It makes me sad, and I have to be jolly. So I have to train, and this is one of my missions in life. I have to train the parents how to slowly transition the child so that this jolly guy in a red and white suit isn't going to scare the living dickens out of it. And sometimes I even give up my seat and put the mother or father in my seat, and I lean into the picture so that the baby is at peace and not crying. But I'll tell you, I cannot count how many throw the child into my lap, and suddenly it's like, out, they turn into a board and try to slide off your lap. It's crazy. Give me a newborn any day, even if it's doing a number in its drawers. Just let me, the newborn looks at you like, I don't care. You're warm. You're comfortable. They're easy. And I also get the odd ones that are pullers. They love pulling the beard. Oh boy. They like to sit there and say, are you the real Santa? I said, yeah. Check out the beard. Pinch me. I'm here, right? He says, well, that doesn't do anything. Well, what do you want me to say? No, I'm sitting right here.
Wow. Andrew D. Hello, Andrew. Welcome to the chat. Hey, Santa, I saw a nice elf.
He's the one that put the snow down my neck.
Oh, he's the one on your naughty list. I got you. I understand.
I don't know how he can be such a naughty elf when his own child is an angel. That's okay.
Wow.
I'll get him back. Santa's got some really cool tricks.
So, um, besides your normal, the normal work that you have to do in the next, oh dear Lord, 8 days, um, what, what else are you going to be doing up there in your area?
Well, I'm
More
visiting.
trips to the mall and stuff?
Yeah, I visit lots of the like I just finished visiting a seniors home, the seniors residence. You go up to a 94-year-old and you go, "I remember you." Says you've been pretty good, and they look at you going, "Where have you been? I've been waiting for ages." And then they give you a big hug, and your heart melts, which is really nice. But yeah,
Isn't that really cool? When it's not just the little kids, it's the big kids too that get a tear in their eye or want to touch you or hug you or something, that you have made such an impact on people's lives that they remember you from 30, 40, 50 years ago, and they just want to touch you. And I mean, doesn't that just warm you up?
it sure does. It sure does. It's a wonderful feeling. Yeah. So all my hobbies have been kind of put aside, Drew, with all the stuff that's going on right now leading up to Christmas. But you know, like yourself, you have other things that you do outside of here, and I myself, I'm
No,
a
not really.
collector. Yes, okay, I know different. Anyway, yes, I'm a coin collector. I love numismatics and exonumia, things related to coins, challenge coins. I collect ball caps. I like my baseball caps. I collect pins. I collect books, especially vintage books, especially turn of the century if I can find them. Especially things that dealing with Boy Scouts. Fantastic. Yeah, there's lots of stuff that I do over and above my regular tasking. History, just like you do. I love history. I can't get enough of it, and it's so I mean, let's face it. The one thing I have always believed in: if you don't follow history, sometimes, not always, but sometimes, we're going to end up repeating it, and not everything is, as you know, and we try not to have to repeat some of the bad things. So the best thing to do is not to forget and learn by the things that have happened, and try not to do it again.
Very true. Very true. Well, Tony, that's a good question because though here in the States, the United States being more of a pro-gun country, and with Santa actually being up in Canada. Now, is Canada technically still part of the UK, or did that separation several years ago make?
We are a separate country with Commonwealth. So we do have the Queen as the head of our Commonwealth, but we have our own Parliament and our own Prime Minister and our own set of laws. We have a Charter of Rights and Freedoms that we carry on up here. And touching on the gun issue, you know, it's a sad thing to say, but with all the, and I won't get into all the politics of that because that's not what I'm about. There's, in my mind, if you are a hunter, and I don't mind if you're a hunter for food and whatnot, you should be able to have guns, you know, properly stored within your house so that you can go out and you do your hunting, or on a range. I used to go on a rifle range all the time. Few and far between now, but with the legislation that they have now up here, they're making it so that even honest gun owners cannot have guns. So what happens? Well, it's those nasty people that shouldn't have guns still have them because the legislation doesn't stop them. They're not going to stop holding on to those weapons because someone tells them they can't. It's only the honest people that do. So that's where
Mm-hmm.
the crux of the issue is, that you are punishing the honest people where the dishonest people are getting away with it. And that's the sad part about it.
Very well put. Very well put. I agree completely on that one. I agree completely. So you mentioned before the stream when we were chatting that you had a story that you thought would be very interesting.
Yes, the story of the young lad that had reached the age where he was his belief in Santa was failing.
Mm-hmm.
And
well, let me kind of leeway into this real quick. We were talking beforehand, and I mentioned this morning, guys, a little bit in the chat, that my daughter and I sat down last night. We watched the Polar Express together, and we got to the very, very last couple minutes when the boy and his sister were unwrapping their Christmas presents under the tree, and the sister finds the little box back in the back, and it turns out to be the bell that he had lost at the North Pole because of the hole in his robe pocket. And they rang the bell and listened, and his mom and dad picked the bell up and they shook it, and it's like, oh darn, it's broke. And then he goes on to say that, you know, the bell continued to ring for him and his sister for many years, but gradually his friends couldn't hear the bell anymore, and even his sister lost the ability to hear the bell. But the bell still rings loudly for me. And my daughter asked me, she said, Dad, why do you always get choked up and cry when he says that? I said, because the bell still rings for me. I still hear it. I still believe in that magic. I still believe in Santa Claus. I still believe in Christmas and goodwill and love and hope and everything else. And Santa told me, he said, I actually have a story about that. And it's like, oh, okay, good. We have to hear that. So now I'm going to turn this over to Santa and let him tell his story.
Mm-hmm. Well, young man who was getting into his teen years finally asked his dad. He says, Dad, look, I've been around for a while and I'm having my doubts here. Is Santa real? And his dad looked at me and says, son, if I tell you, you understand that there's no going back. Once I tell you, it's that magic spark that we share with the younger children because their young minds can accept it, that Santa is real. Now, once I tell you this, you understand there's no going back. And his son says, yes, I'm prepared, because he wasn't trying to deceive his son or anything. He says, son, Santa is real, but Santa is not a man. Santa is an ideal. It's an idea. It's a feeling. It's something that's within you. And how he explained, he says, look, every year since you were a baby, you found presents under your tree, and it was from Santa. Santa got the credit for those presents. Why? Because I was Santa. It was within me to be Santa, as it is with so many other parents, where they're not getting credit. They're giving without expectation. And their child has got that magic where they're actually receiving something. And it's from this wonderful idea, this person that's so mystical and magical. And then he went on to say, well, look, it's the same as if I walked into a subway and saw someone injured. And I contacted emergency services, and they came and they saved that person. Well, he never got credit for it, but he was acting as Santa by helping that person, giving without expectation, and they went on their merry way. And it's the feeling inside, that warm feeling inside of giving without expectation. Not give to get. Give without expectation, and you will receive, but not from the areas where you might think it's coming from. It's coming from areas that you don't. I have many times myself have done services for other people, and they sent me things that I didn't ask for. They just materialized. And that is one of the things that is really magical about the season. So Santa is real, but you got to understand the entire concept. Let the little children believe in it. You don't have to deceive them when they get older. You can tell them exactly what it is and how it works. Because that same spirit of giving has gone on since the 4th century, and it's still going on today. So this is the magic. And yes, I still hear the bells too.
Amazing. That's wonderful. And that's, I think, the reason that I do videos every Christmas Eve of Santa showing up at the house and putting the presents under the tree. And I started here a couple of years ago. I actually started interacting with him and chatting with Santa. And though my daughter was coming to that age, I wanted to keep that magic there. I wanted that one little question to sit up here and just kind of twirl around. What did I just see? Now, of course, she don't understand how I do things in here with green screens and stuff like that. She don't understand. Even at her age, she don't understand the concept now at 14. So that's still twirling around. That's my dad, but wait, that's my dad. Wait, huh? How's that possible? So, Santa horror stories.
Oh boy.
Some of those situations you have been in that just whether it be at a mall, whether it be at a showing somewhere or visit, you've got to have some. I think anyone who dons the red suit has got some.
I don't know if you'd call them horror stories. Yeah, the unable crying children is probably at the top of my list because, especially when I was a new Santa, it was pretty tough to adjust to it. But eventually, I learned. The other thing you have to expect is that many of these younger children, especially the ones in diapers, tend to loosen their load while they're sitting on your lap. If you know what I mean. And it's like
interesting.
Please, diaper, hold. don't leak. But yeah, that's some of the worst ones, I guess. Just Santa horror stories. I think having a breakdown in the middle of nowhere in your Santa suit in a whiteout, that was rather interesting. Fortunately, I was nice and warm, and there was a lot of good Samaritans out there to help me. But
oh wow,
yeah, but nothing made. I don't think anything really major. I mean, gosh, now that I'm thinking, can I think anything that's really horrible? Not really, not horrible. Just more inconvenient and more like, okay, I got to get control of this situation to make sure everything goes smooth. Horror story. Okay, you've got to be wear appropriate attire when you visit me. I went to I did a community group, and the photographer had this tremendous setup. He had like a 90-inch screen set up, so he could everybody in the hall waiting. There must have been 300 people in there, and you could see this big screen. Of course, it was a face, so I could sitting in my seat. I could see right across the hall, and I could see myself sitting in the chair, and the children sitting with me, and we'd have the photographs taken. In comes this couple. and they were wearing spandex. They must have just come out of a gymnasium, and they were I would have wished I was like 50 years younger, because boy, did they ever look good. But the mother was not dressed properly, and she was showing way too much. Put the child on my knee, and the mom and dad sat on either side of me. And of course, I got this big screen sitting in front of me, and everything was hanging out. And apparently, my eyeballs grew about four times too big. They took the picture, and the dad looks at you and goes, "Nope, we're doing that picture over again." Yeah, they gave Santa a present that day.
Much like the Grinch's heart grew 3 sizes that day,
exactly.
So did Santa's eyes.
It was quite entertaining.
Oh my goodness gracious! So, okay. We're gonna move this in a different direction. If anybody still has kids, kicking back and watching the show right now, we're going to get to that point in the show where you may want to send them out of the room, just to keep that magic alive. I'll give you guys a couple minutes to accomplish that, and then we're going to sit down and talk to Santa on a more personal level. So, how many more mall visits you got in the next 8 days?
One. Monday.
Only one.
Unless someone.
How did your visit go this week? Oh, okay.
Really well. Really well. Again, it's the 10-hour days are tough. By the time you're finished, you're done. It's you have to remain in character the entire time. So imagine, if you, as a seasonal actor, you have to really, hold on to the persona, and your cheeks are sore. You do a lot of smiling. Yes, you do.
Oh yeah, I'm sure, and a lot of ho-hos.
A lot of ho-hos. And they're
hey,
not
Connie,
the chocolate.
Good to see you, dear. Yeah, they're not the chocolate kind. They're not that good kind. No. All right, guys. I wanna go on and introduce everybody to Patrick. Go on and tell them about yourself, my friend.
Well, okay. In my real life, I served years in the Canadian Army, having cross-trained with the United States and the British forces during my frame. 12 years in combat arms and 8 years in support. I spent several years working as a special constable with the city of Edmonton, helping out with various roles of security and parking enforcement, that sort of thing, and then moved on to driving a city bus. I actually retired as a what we call a what do they call it now? A bus driver. We have a term for it. I've just lost it. But I drove everything from trolleys to 60-foot articulated buses, the old low floors and that sort of thing. And actually, I really enjoyed it. It was a nice job. And eventually, I just got aged out, and I worked for 45 years. And now what I do is I work with veterans through the Operational Stress Injury Support Group through the Canadian. I'm still attached to them. I'm taking special training and helping folks that are dealing with operational stress injuries, PTSD, that sort of thing. And so I'll sit down with them, as often as we can, usually twice a month, and or I'll go out to the various veteran groups, and we'll do visitation. If someone needs some help doing veteran affairs paperwork, we'll go out and we'll help them do that sort of thing. It keeps me busy, and of course, I'm also part of the Edmonton Numismatic Society. So I do genuinely collect coins, and it just keeps me busy and trying to be a good husband and help out around the house. And I like to travel, of course, in real time. I've been across most of Europe and the States. I still haven't hit the Far East yet. I'd actually love to go to New Zealand and even kind of touchy about Australia, but mostly because I'm sick and tired of the big bugs and stuff. That I've seen enough of that in the Middle East. Uh, I've had a good life. I've had a very good life. I'm a father, grandfather. My oldest is 50 years of age now, and yeah, when I think about that, oh wow, where did the time go? But yeah, and I'm of course living here in northern Canada, and my favorite pastime when I get a chance to is I enjoy visiting down through the states. I go to Fort Henry Harrison quite often. I was part of the first Special Service Force Association, and of course that was a joint American Canadian unit in World War II. And also, I do like playing cards. I've been playing a casual poker. I'm not a big gambler or anything, but I love playing poker, and I've been playing for 50 years. And occasionally, I'll go down to Las Vegas and I'll get into a tournament and play down there. And the rest of the time, we like doing the floor shows and wining and dining and all the stuff that you love to do when you're a senior citizen. That as long as you're capable, and trying to stem off those wonderful aging illnesses that keep cropping up. As you know, Drew, it's a lot of fun to, being 16 years old inside and the body's starting to get a little bit on the weathered side. It's quite a challenge. And yes, you younger folks, you're still the same person when you get old. It's just the packaging's getting a little bit wrinkled. So,
amen to that. Amen to that. So you were telling me before the stream started, you were a 22-year veteran.
Yeah,
of the armed forces. Wow.
Canadian. I served in 4 different infantry regiments. My buddies say that I have a identity crisis because I served with the Essex and Kent Scottish, the Calgary Highlanders, the 3rd Battalion Royal Canadian Regiment, and the 1st Battalion Princess Patricia's Canadian Light Infantry. I was communications research, so I was a teletype operator, and eventually I turned into a supply tech. So, I was like all over the place.
Wow. Wow. Very active, very active. So what made you pick up the mantle and start becoming who you are today? I mean,
Oh my goodness. What prompted me? Well, first things first, in my youth, my parents tried, especially my mother, tried to keep Christmas, regardless of our financial situation. We struggled. A lot of the things made with his own hands. And my mother and father did the best they could. But it was I came from a very poor family. So as I moved on in life, I had spent a couple Christmases where I felt like I was Charlie Brown. I went into a tree lot and had some melted wax and a candelabra and made my own tree and put a little string of lights on. I was down to one folding cot in the little apartment I was in. I said, no, I will never, ever subject my children to a Christmas like that. So from that point on, my Christmases got better and better and more elaborate. And eventually it was like living with the Griswolds, the house, oof, amazing. And of course, my wife being British, she thought it was just the greatest thing ever. And she took up the mantle of Mrs. Claus, no problem. And my daughter Megan was the one that really went, Dad, you'd make a pretty good Santa. I said, well, okay, well, I'll tell you what, I'll pick up a suit. I put it on and I haven't looked back. It's progressed since then, and it's been a lot of fun. And of course, now, my grandchildren, they absolutely love it. I mean, they got Santa for a grandfather. I mean, wow. So yeah, and I go visit. I got a chance to visit them and in character, and they thought it was pretty cool. So that's where I came from. It just progressed, and eventually got to the point where I developed the skills enough to actually go in and become a full-fledged mall Santa.
So what of, I mean, I'm gonna call it like I've always believed it. 500 years of Kris Kringle, of Saint Nick. What was the hardest part of becoming Santa Claus?
Well, I think the hardest part would probably be explaining this whole thing of believing. I keep hearing the expression "seeing is believing." I've never heard of such a crock in my life as seeing is believing, because seeing is not believing. And I'll give you an example. If you could see God, would you believe in God? No. You would know God. You wouldn't believe in God, because you physically see God. You know God exists. Seeing isn't believing. It's accepting something as tangible, as real, without that tangible proof. You actually accept through faith that something is real.
Mm-hmm.
Believing through faith is the right way to go. So when you want to believe in something, you just believe it because you want to believe it. If you see it, you don't have to believe anymore. You know it's there. And that's where people tend to get confused.
Well,
Yeah, and
I keep going back to Polar Express when they said that, believing isn't seeing, or seeing isn't believing. Believing is seeing, and that's something that I've always kind of held close by, because you can. Well, a perfect example. Have you ever seen $1 million? Well, no, but it exists.
that's exactly right.
So, I mean, that's just that's and that's what I've always held dear to heart is, if you believe in something, you're going to see it, but you don't always believe everything you see. I believe the old saying goes, half of what I see and none of what I hear. So, so how long ago did you say you retired? Like 12 years ago, 11 years ago, something like that?
Yeah, I retired in 2014.
Okay. And when did you pick up the Santa thing again? Was it right after you retired?
I actually started it in 2013.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Wow. So how busy are you really? And how long are you busy? I mean, living up there where you live at, I'm sure it's
Oh man,
it's more Christmassy longer than just December. I mean,
a lot of people wonder about that, because as you go further north, our during the winter, our days are much shorter. So a lot of cases, you'll get up, it's dark. You go home from work, it's dark. The days are extremely short. So what you're looking at is people tend to put as many Christmas lights as they possibly can out. I don't have to turn my Christmas lights off. They're outside, the trees done up, the yard's done up, all my neighbors, and it's the ambiance from all the Christmas decorations makes Christmas an extremely magical time. When I drove for Edmonton Transit, I used to charter my own bus, and it was a Christmas bus. And I would decorate the inside filled with Christmas lights we would bring in all the holiday goodies and whatnot, whether they mincemeat pies or cakes or cookies and different things to drink. Bring in the Christmas Carol books, load up the friends and family into the bus, and I would drive it, and I would tour all over the city looking at all the Christmas displays. And we'd be singing Christmas carols and partying on this bus for like 4, 5, 6 hours. And that's what a lot of people up here do. A huge amount of beautiful displays to bring us through these dark days and fill yourself with the magic that can happen only during the winter months, especially at Christmas, of course. Yeah.
Wow.
The other thing we do.
I'm sorry.
The other thing that we do up here, especially in Alberta, is we have a huge Ukrainian population, even before all the terrible things that are going on in the Ukraine. Massive. So most of us actually leave our Christmas lights and trees up till January 8th. And we do that in support of the Ukrainians that are up here, so that we actually, and of course with the Jewish, with the rest of the things in Kwanzaa, we also recognize all those holidays too through the holiday season. So it's quite an interesting place to live up here. It's quite pretty.
So how much of the year do you actually have snow way up there where you live at?
We can get snow you typically around the 30th of October, and our last snowfall is usually between mid and end April.
Okay, so about the same as here.
The big thing is, and you're in Michigan, right?
Yes.
The big difference is it's very dry here. So when we hit minus 40 or minus 50 here, which is the same in Fahrenheit as it is Celsius, when you get to that temp, it's very dry. You got to be very careful when you go outside, because the wind chill here will freeze you. You can take a glass of water, throw it up in the air, and it turns to snow instantly. Amazing stuff to see.
Oh, wow.
Whereas when I remember living in Ontario, it was very wet. And sometimes we didn't even get snow at Christmas when I was living in Windsor. It was just wet. So, yeah, things are quite a bit different temperature-wise, mostly because, again, whether it's dry or wet. So, yeah, it's pretty cold up here.
Wow. Yeah, I think we got to minus 50 wind chill here 2 winters ago. And yeah, I'm an outdoorsman anyway, so I just put on Civil War wool and a couple pair of wool socks and my cavalry boots, and I'm out walking around and enjoying it. But yeah, I guess I'm real big on snow. The cold never bothered me. Not to quote a certain Disney movie with a frosty queen, but the cold never bothered me. It just, I love it. And, especially Christmas time, going around and seeing the decorations. Polar Bear said it best. My 2 favorite parts of Christmas are the lights and visiting Santa. Mm-hmm. And, I've told a lot of my own people, I've started letting the beard grow in, and I'm also going to pick up the mantle next year and start doing it. We don't have any Santas here in the area, and I live in a little tiny village of 3,000 people, and that even includes our rural area around the town. So we have some nice little shops here and stuff that I think could use a Santa during the month of December. And so I'm going to try my best to stay right here and contribute back to my own village, and give kids a little bit more of that visual magic next year. So could you
see, folks, this
what was that? You kind of blacked out a little bit.
You're a Santa too.
I'm an SIT. I'm a Santa in training right now. So yeah. Mostly what I'm doing is I'm training this to grow, and then I'll start training this to come out and twist. And but this is 3 weeks growth, so it should be doing pretty well by next December. But tell everybody about the organizations that you belong to. The group, the Real Beard Santas, and I think you mentioned another one before the chat started.
Well, we have the Worldwide Santa Network, which is quite large. I believe there's somewhere around 3,000 of us in that. We have the International Brotherhood of Real Bearded Santas, which is again organizations that not only encourage improving the standard of the Santas as we display ourselves, but also they provide opportunities to take Santa training. Yes, we have training. There's a lot, and Drew's he's well underway. I mean, having a good grounding of the history of Santa Claus and of Christmas in general is paramount. How to deal with all the various things that happen in your guise as Santa Claus, and there's quite a bit. Being able to maintain the persona and be jolly for X amount of hours takes a lot, because you are essentially a seasonal actor, and that's and a lot of actors do not have to stay in character as long as we do. It's basically you take it on, and believe it or not, by the end of the season, it stays. It's pretty hard to stop being jolly after you've spent 6 or 8 solid weeks. And actually, when I finish up here in January, I will not shave all my beard off. It will never come off completely, but I trim it down because I go into the character of Captain Smith of the RMS Titanic. In fact, I'm preparing a video that I'll be doing, his final video after he left, or when he left Southampton. Doing the acting part is a lot of fun, and but Santa is the number one thing that I do. That's definitely right up there. But you saying that you're well, that's what I do. The same thing. I loved getting dressed. Dressing up is fun. A character is a lot of fun. Halloween. Oh, I love Halloween. Oh my goodness. I dress up as my character at Halloween is Uther Pendragon. No, I'm not Arthur. I'm Uther. I'm too old for Arthur. So I have a costume. I dress up as Uther Pendragon from King Arthur. So it's a lot of fun.
Wow.
The other channel too.
I was actually going to say a lot of people don't know, since I built this up and advertised this as having Santa on here. I didn't say anything about you as you. Patrick actually has 3 YouTube channels.
3 personal, and 1 I run for the Edmonton Numismatic Society. But the Numismaniac, which is basically the history of coin collecting, and we delve into a lot of different discussions, play some games and whatnot. I have a joint venture with Coin World UK, a good friend of mine, Dale, and we promote collecting in general, whether it be exonumia or coins or cards or whatever it might be that you're into. I got some guys that collect typewriters and cameras and name it, they do it. That's a.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and
the
other one.
The sound keeps going out. It's like you're thinking you're stopping talking.
The other one is After Service Adventures Canada, and that one's I'm working on it because I was laid up last year. I was quite ill, so I couldn't get into doing a lot of the stuff we want to. But it's based on retired service people who don't know any better, that they're not 16 or 18 anymore, and they're trying to relive some of their glory days by doing crazy things that they shouldn't, like trying to do a rundown on a rifle range with a walker. You know, let's do some mountaineering, but I got to put my cane away. Let's do some whitewater rafting, but I got to try to lose about 50 pounds to get into this wetsuit. You know, it's fun, and of course we show all the different places we go and things we do, and our travel. So it's a fun channel for veterans who just don't know when to quit.
Do we ever really have to quit?
Heck no. I'll quit when I'm called to the pearly gates. That's when I'm going to quit.
And that's what I keep telling my wife when it comes to my historical reenactments. I said, my luck, I'll probably die laying in my cot on my wool blankets, dressed up as a 19th century buckskinner somewhere, or a mountain man, and I just won't wake up one morning. I said, but you know something? You'll know that when I did go, I went dreaming of that next day entertaining the crowd.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I've actually just ordered in a bunch of stuff. I want to do. I want to be a coeur de bois, which is a voyageur from back in the days. And
French voyageur.
Yes, so I've got the Métis sash and the red cap. Of course, it'll go good with the beard. You know, the proper toque, and I want the 17th or 18th century white shirt. You know, with the big blouse, almost like the pirate ones they used to. Yes, you probably have one there. And he's plugged in. Oh, that's well done. Yes. Oh, excellent. We are more alike. Right color too.
Yep, and this guy's it's even got the trade silver pieces on it. This is a coup de bois. The stocking cap that the French trappers, the French traders would. I actually attempted to start learning French a few years ago, and I realized that learning French is like learning Gaelic. Unless you have somebody here to speak with you, yeah, it's really hard to do it on your own.
Yeah, very hard.
Now, my daughter's learning that now because she's taking French in high school her freshman year, and she's even having a hard time picking up on a lot of French in class. So she knows now why I speak very little French running around the house.
Je parle un petit peu français.
Oui. Yep. Oh, hey, lady C, good to see you. Hope you're doing good tonight. Have a boatload of YouTube bears. My retirement. Oh, wow. Oh, Lord, French is a hard language. My ex spoke French. French is a very hard language. And, you know, as a reenactor, I've met a lot of people from Canada. We have some very large War of 1812 battles down here in the Midwest. And we've had guys actually come down from Quebec. There was 3 brothers that used to come down that were professional clothers. I mean, they made the very nice muslin and wool and cotton suits and stuff. And they spoke nothing but French. And I mean, if they lived any closer than Quebec, I would sit and learn with them. But there's nobody around here that speaks that much French,
Yeah, it
especially
does make it hard.
conversational French. Oh man, I'm glad you made it in, lady. See, I have really been looking forward to this. I mean, ever since I was a little kid, I've always wanted to just sit down and talk to Santa, and not be rushed up on his lap and then rushed away. I mean, and it's not exactly the Christmas story kind of thing where you get 20 seconds and you're pushed down a slide, but you know just sitting down and chatting with him. And I've only had a chance to talk to this guy a few times on emails because, well, cell phones, international phone calls are darn near impossible. But that, and he's been so bloody busy this month. I was so happy when he told me he was able to make it in tonight and spend some time with us. Learned from a coworker and 1820s reenactor Daniel Boone actually wore a cat skin cap. I've never heard that. Now I knew there was some fiction about the coonskin cat, but I needed to see Santa to get the Christmas spirit. Nice to meet you, Santa. It's a true blessing. Aw, that's sweet. I'm always in the Christmas spirit, especially when I start thinking about Santa. So you said your wife went on and she picked up the mantle of Mrs. Claus. You got your kids involved. Your grandkids. They're really lucky because they got Santa as a grandpa. I mean,
they've got.
When their classes have parents visit school day, do they ever get grandpa to come in instead of their own parents and talk about what he does?
The closest I came is I got called into my granddaughter's daycare that she's actually one of the teachers there, or whatever they call it, and did Christmas in July, and that was a hoot because I got to wear my Santa baseball cap with my Santa Hawaiian shirt, and it was a lot of fun.
I was going to ask you if Santa actually wore a Hawaiian shirt in his off time.
Oh, I've got one. Absolutely. Got pictures of me on a surfboard. Yeah, I think even the reindeer is on one of the surfboards on that thing. It's funny. But, it's very festive, and kids loved it. They just thought it was great.
In school one year, I starred as Mrs. Claus. I had to sing to Santa. Well, that's really funny, Connie, that you mentioned that, because in the 6th grade, we done a Christmas play, and I got to play Santa Claus. And they had like 3 pillows tied to me, had this adult-sized suit on me. And they had to take the beard and pull it up on me and then put a bread tie on top of it under the hat so the beard fit me well. And so, I mean, you got to play Mrs. Claus one time. I got to play Santa Claus, and it was a hit. I mean, we had the auditorium full for that. Like I said, I was only in the 6th grade, so but I remember the music to that thing. Oh my Lord. God, reindeer. How do reindeer fly?
Oh, that's an interesting question. Well, as many of the various movies show, that they have put some sort of magic powder into their feet, but I would say that it's basically. I think the aurora borealis has a lot to do with it. They tend to pick up the magic, and they fly using the magic. You got to remember.
I never thought about that.
One thing that a lot of people don't know is that reindeer is the common name, but actually they're caribou.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, Canada is full of caribou. We have got more caribou up here than you can possibly imagine. So we have no shortage of reindeer whatsoever. It's not just Finland or Lapland or up in the Nordic countries that have them. Canada has a huge amount of reindeer up here. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, something
Lady C said, my mom brought me up with the understanding that the belief of Santa was the biggest part of having the spirit and faith of the holidays. Thank you for a wonderful childhood, Santa.
does my heart good to hear that.
I've known Lady C for a couple of years. She's a very sweet woman, and yeah, that's really nice to hear right there. That's really nice to hear. Gotta hop, go get pups from groomer. Oh my God, she's not picked up the doggies from the groomer yet. Oh goodness.
Yeah,
All
our
right,
Santa.
Jay. Well, I don't know if those. I'm sorry. I don't know if the snow's really kicked in down there yet. It started snowing here about 4.5 hours ago, and it's coming down pretty steady right now. So
Our Santa.
regardless, we're going to have a white Christmas.
Good.
Your
It's
Santa
easier
puppies?
Yeah, our Santa puppy needs grooming.
Not yet, but it's coming. Okay. All right. I wasn't sure what the lower Ohio Valley was getting yet, but we're getting it up here in Southwest Michigan, which, a lot of you guys know I'm 15 minutes from the Indiana line. So, but we're getting snow. They're not. A little bit of magic there. It's coming in right off Lake Michigan and getting us.
Oh, Lake Michigan.
So, I know we love lake effect snow here. The last good snow we had was about 8 years ago. And right before Christmas, we had almost 6 feet of snow. The plow trucks were coming in and they were plowing the front of the mailboxes as close as they could get without knocking the mailboxes down. And we had to go out there with shovels and snow blowers and cut the little arc in there so the post people could actually get up to the mailboxes and get us in there. But so you say snow's better on the sleigh tracks than the skis than grass and dirt?
Well, the thing you got to remember, yeah, of course, you run sleigh on dirt, it's bad. But a lot of people don't realize too that we actually wax those sleighs in order to run across the snow. We have different types of wax, much like they do with the cross country skis. You have different types of wax used for different types of. So yeah, it's very important, and so I don't mind a snowfall. A snowfall is good for the sleigh. It's a lot easier.
Very cool. Very cool. So, when do you have plans to come back down and visit the States again? I mean, besides on Christmas.
You know what? Mrs. C is actually, she's working on getting her citizenship. She's still, she's had lots of time to do it, but she waited until she got to a certain age so she doesn't have to write the citizenship test. Boy, I'll tell you what. Vancouver Island's not a different country. Anyway, so she's going to do her get her citizenship here, and as soon as she's got that, we can get her a passport. Because I've been feeling guilty. I haven't been able to take her anywhere, so I've been taking my children to all these exotic locations and friends, and I'll Skype her and say, "Look, honey, palm trees," and she's in 4 feet of snow. So yeah, so I can't wait to be able to get her to travel with me. One of the things I would like to do, even though I'm sure she's going to want to fly, but I love to drive. And the last drive that I took down south here, I went through Montana and Arizona and Utah and all that. And some of the country was absolutely gorgeous. I want her to experience that, to be able to see some of the, because all she's seen since 82 is Canada. Canada's gorgeous, mind you. I mean, it's got some beautiful places. But you know what? The United States has got some really awesome places too. Like her to get down to see my hometown again, and to be able to see, to travel through, yes, through Michigan, through. I want to get into Ohio. She really wants. She's watched White Christmas a million times. She wants to go to Vermont. I wonder why.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, and I'll probably take her in and show her all the sights. And she wants to go to Salem. She wants to go to. I want to go to Gettysburg. I've been through a lot of the South. I was posted to Fort Benning, Georgia, for a while when I went to the U.S. Ranger School, and so it was with the 3rd Battalion's 7th Infantry, the Cotton Balers. Now that was an experience, and yeah, so I haven't never made it down to Florida. You think half of Canada's living in Florida? Well, I'm not there yet, so I would like to go visit. I've been through Texas. I've been to El Paso because I remember losing my stomach because it got burned out by the Mexican food I ate. And yeah, wow. I'm not good with food. Ooh. But liked it. But, oh well. And yeah, and well, I would like
not. I was just going to say, not that Santa don't already know this, but I lived in Texas for 3 years, 3.5 years. And I got very, very, very used to authentic Mexican cooking. And now it don't do me any good because nobody else in the household can handle spice like I can, or peppers or anything else.
Yeah, so, my dad was the one where he would sit down and he would have the hottest peppers known to man sitting there, and he'd have a big steak on the grill and he'd barbecue that up and all these hot peppers. And then he would have his case of beer and he would go through a dozen bottles of beer and it was sweat all out of him. I ate one of these peppers and I was on the floor. That was it. I was done. There's just no way that I can handle hot foods. Heck, ketchup is about as strong as I can handle.
Oh, Lord. And see, one of my favorite things to do is I will go out and buy a jar of dill pickles and a jar of jalapenos. And I will mix them half and half with each other. Or I will take the jalapenos out of the jar, put the dill pickles in the jar, then put the jalapenos in the dill pickle juice. That way you've got the dill, but you've also got the spice of the jalapeno, and vice versa, doing it the other way.
Oh, you would have gotten along real well with my dad. I also remember we also liked horseradish. My mother made homemade horseradish, and it was so bad in the house. You walk in and you had to get out again. It was just so strong.
Oh, wow. Now, see, I like horseradish mayonnaise. It don't have the bite of the horseradish, but it's got the flavor of the horseradish, but the creaminess of the mayonnaise.
Oh, that doesn't sound so bad.
Oh, does anybody else have any questions for Santa or Patrick, or, you know, whatever name you want to call him? I mean, even some of his own followers that have come in and joined us tonight. I've watched several of his videos, and I know he don't go into a lot of detail about himself much in his videos. He really sticks to the subject matter at hand. Does anybody have anything they would like to ask about him or what he does? A nightmare. I'm just enjoying the conversation. While they're coming up with questions, my friend, if you want to, I know you're on your computer, if you want to type in some of your links to your channels, where they can actually go and see you in your own environment. You are, well, if you just want to type something in there real quick, I'll go on and give you a blue wrench. Then you can type in your links. Let me do it that way.
Okay. I'm gonna grab my other machine here so I can do that.
Polar Bear did ask how you make your videos so magical.
Lots of work.
Lots of work. I was actually telling Santa earlier before the live stream started that, you know, I have a lot of people that you know, comment about my intros and my outros, especially during the Christmas season. Like when I'm sitting in the cabin and I got the fire crackling behind me and the wreath is hung up above the hearth and the Christmas trees beside me with my raven in the Christmas tree. That's actually, that's one of the things that takes me so long to make my videos is I'll like put me in a video and then I'll encode it to my device and then I'll put it back on the editing program and I'll put the wreath and the Christmas tree in, and then I encode it back to my device and I put it back into the editing program, put the raven in the tree. So a lot goes into those videos trying to make that visual. Can Santa make my Christmas wish come true? Lady C, I don't think there's a more beautiful wish than what you put up in there. You know, actually, for both my kids and me, I would like to leave South Carolina and go back to Texas to be with my kids. I don't think there's a more beautiful wish.
Yeah, that's
yeah, I honestly believe that if you do as Santa suggested earlier and put that picture of that town that you want to live in Texas on your refrigerator, on your mirror in your bathroom, and you sit down and you write, you know, something in a journal or something about this is where you're going to be. You know, this is, it will eventually happen. It will eventually happen. And let me see here. Okay, that did not pop up in chat. Let me see if I can. Nope. Actually, oh, there we go. There we go. Now I can add moderator right there. Okay, now you're good to type in those links. They actually weren't coming up because you weren't a moderator. But I just made, I mean, who could you trust more than Santa Claus to not come in here and troll your live streams? I mean, so Santa has a wrench now, so he can put all of his links to all of his different channels. You like trifle?
Oh, you know, the trifle I like doesn't have the fruit in it. It's just you make it with sponge and Jello, and you let that set. Then you put your Devon custard on top. Lots of whipped cream, sprinkles, and that is definitely my favorite.
Oh wow! I told the wife I was not going to bake pies for Christmas this year. I'm actually going to make a monkey bread. Do you guys have monkey bread way up north?
I've heard of it. I don't think I've ever had it though.
You know what a donut hole is, of course, the little round, supposedly the piece you cut out of this. Okay, well, monkey bread is basically 40 or 50 of these things with this gooey frosting, and you pile them up like a pyramid or like a Christmas tree, and you drizzle this icing all over them. And then it's a finger food. You just pick out the pieces of the monkey bread and eat it like that, kind of like a monkey grooming another monkey.
Sounds delicious.
Very, very, very sweet. So I gotta be like really careful of that one. But when there's sugar cream pie and pumpkin pie and sweet potato pie and everything around here, yeah, I tend to forget about the diabetes thing. So, yeah. Let me see here. There we go. I love all food. I'm with you, Nightmare. I'm with you. Of course, you know, Thanksgiving is turkey time here, and Christmas time is ham. And I love to sit down and sugar cure my own ham or honey glaze a ham, and serve it up to the family. Hopefully, we'll have a house full again. Paul asked, how do I get Santa to make a video for my son?
Oh, that's an easy one. Just go to my channel, Santa Claus North Pole Canada, and follow the instructions on that website or on that YouTube channel. You just email me the information that you know, and I don't want last names. The channel is set up so that it's child safe. So I need the child's name, age, any details that you might have, what they might be looking for Christmas, how they're doing in school, how they're acting up, and you can even tell little things where, oh, he needs to pull up his socks and stop writing on the walls or whatever. You can give me all the more details, the more mats. And you email that to me. I'll make the video and I'll address it to your child or children, and then I will give you the link. And then at your own discretion, you can go in and you should share it with your child, a video personally directed to them from Santa. Yeah. I think sticky toffee pudding with French vanilla ice cream is probably my favorite dessert outside of Christmas time, because there's something you have that followed from a nice cut of roast beef with the Yorkshire pudding and rustic mashed potatoes and a nice side of vegetables of some sort. Yeah, that's to me is a wonderful meal.
That's awesome. You're the best, Santa. I'll be doing this for sure. Awesome, Paul. That's great. I was actually going to put, I had considered putting your link running across as a banner running across the bottom.
If you want, you can put my email address right up there. It's Santa Claus Great White North at gmail.com.
Here we go. Boom, right there. I don't know if it's gonna pop up on there with the line underneath it or not. There we go. You're gonna have to write it down. It didn't actually form a link for some reason. Gmail don't form a link on the chat. But that's it right there. I've never heard of sugar cream pie. Connie, you have got to be kidding me. A sugar cream pie is like a very, very, very sweet custard. And it comes in a normal pie crust. They're very, very hard to make by hand to get the custard to set up just right. But we have several stores around that sell them in the frozen section. You just pop them in the oven for like 20 or 25 minutes to brown the crust and to thaw them out and heat them up. And I love them when they first come out of the oven, when they're still really warm. But sugar cream pie is one of those things that you can just sit and munch on, and they're not safe around me, because of my grandmother making sure that I always had sugar cream pie on Easter. I always had sugar cream pie on Thanksgiving. I always had sugar cream pie on Christmas because it was her favorite pie. And now I'm still the same way. I catch a lot of ribbing from Tony York about being diabetic and still eating sugar, anything with the name sugar in it. But you know, I've learned that smaller pieces make my pie last longer, so I can just enjoy it more than I used to be able to, getting 4 servings out of a pie.
Right.
So oh, so your wife is from England?
Yeah, she her father was a diplomat, and he took on a post in and that's where Tracy. So she's actually she's not. Holland is a strange country. The Netherlands is a strange place because if your parents are not Dutch or your grandparents, you do not automatically get Dutch citizenship. So when she went back to the UK, she ended up on her dad's passport, and then eventually they moved to Canada. And somehow, of course, her parents have passed away since, but they never gave her all the information she needed. So she ended up with no country. I says, "Oh, you're a boat person. you got no country." So it's easier for her just to apply for Canadian citizenship than trying to track down all the information she needs to get British. So that's why she's actually getting the Canadian, and then she'll be able to get her passport and travel with old Saint Nick here.
Nice. My daughter-in-law with my youngest son actually has dual citizenship. She's got Canadian and American citizenship. So yeah, I think she was born up there, but grew up here and moved back there, and then came back here, and so she wound up with a dual citizenship.
Yeah. My brother Bob he was born in Detroit, and my grandfather's born in, he was born in Canada, but he somehow he must have applied for it. He lived in Dearborn. So we used to go to the States all the time. I lived practically half my life in Detroit, wandering around when the city was intact. That is.
Yeah.
Back in the Motor City days.
I bet that's a dangerous place for Santa to go.
It's but there's a lot of empty spaces there now.
Yep. Hey, John, good to see you, bud. Hope you're doing well tonight. Oh,
sunny. Holland is beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. I fell in love with Amsterdam. What a gorgeous place. But you got to be careful. They got a sense of humor there that was bar none the best, because they pulled a fast one on me. I got lost, and I asked a bunch of police officers how to get around, and they feigned they couldn't speak English, and so I'm freaked out, not knowing what to do. And I walked away. He says, "Wait a minute, mate. We all speak English here. We're just joshing." So it's just, oh, okay. You probably speak more English in Holland than we do over here.
So have you ever got to play Santa in another country besides Canada and the US?
Yeah, no, I haven't.
Wow. Now, is that something you'd like to do before you get too old to enjoy it? I mean,
yeah, I would love to have a traditional Father Christmas outfit and go to Manchester, where most of my wife's side of the family live, and actually portray Father Christmas there for them. And actually, my dream is to show up at the pub that they frequent, because that's what they do. They have a neighborhood pub, and all the family know each other. Well, most of them have never met me in person, so I would love to walk in there and then sit down with them and say, "Hi, Father Christmas. I understand that you're my family." it would be interesting to see.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I would definitely say so. My mom was born and raised in Montreal. She has dual citizenship. Oh, wow. I didn't know that, Paul. That's very cool.
Oh,
That's
Montreal. Oh, bon. Yes, Montreal is favorite cities in Quebec. If you go to old Montreal, some of the finest restaurants ever, and that's the home of Dunn's. If you've never been to Dunn's, it is the epitome of what a Montreal smoked meat sandwich should be. The most succulent, thick cuts, beautiful cuts of smoked meat on a fine rye bread with a Dijon mustard and a kosher dill pickle sliced in half next to it. And it's so big that you talk about Big Macs are big. These are huge. And when I was in Montreal, yes, I was there every single day. That was my go-to place to have a delicious meal. But old Montreal with their lovely restaurants, orange glazed duck, and all the rest of those wonderful meals that I had there. Oh. But you got a bit to talk about. You got to learn some French, though. Especially if you want a really good steak, you have to go to a brasserie and order there. Un beefsteak avec. Oh yeah, you can speak Quebecois. Un beefsteak avec gravy, mes amis. Patate frites.
wow. My family is Italian. The food in Montreal is amazing. Eddie and Alex Van Halen was from Amsterdam. I did not know that. Very interesting.
If you want to see something unusual, downtown Amsterdam, hardly any cars. Bikes by the millions. I have never seen so many bikes.
Really?
Thousands and thousands of them parked in bicycle parking areas. Just crazy. Some good food there too.
In your town there in Alberta, well, in your town in Alberta, you mentioned going on the walkabouts and stuff, walking around. Do you just randomly, you and the wife just say, hey, let's don the outfits and go out and just wave at passing cars, or hand out candy canes to little kids at stop signs and places up in town, or what do you normally do when you do your walk arounds like that?
The community league actually has representatives that come over to our place and say, okay, what days are you available to do your walkabout? We organize it. They do all the legwork for us. They do up flyers and they send them out to all the households, and they get the feedback from those that want to participate. We get the list of names. They collect the presents from each of the houses that they want to have Santa deliver to the home. And on an appointed day and time, which is tomorrow at 2 p.m. Our time, I walk around our neighborhood with the help of the volunteer elves and deliver presents to every household that is on the list. So it's pretty cool.
Very cool. That sounds really nice.
Isn't that a cool
And
look?
it's funny that you mentioned the elves too, because Lady C just asked how the elves are doing.
Yeah. See that empty book? Pretty cool, eh?
Very cool.
Oh, it's got words. Nope, not good enough. Wow. I love magic books.
There's a little bit of Christmas magic, guys. I hope you guys saw that. Look at that. Blank pages to words to pictures.
Yeah, you know what? That's quite common. Santa's magic.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Got the list, checking it twice. Oh, yeah.
One of the things I get the biggest kick out of, I really like Tim Allen's portrayal of Santa Claus. And
oh my God,
you know the one, oh yeah, he does the one where he's the toy Santa, and
mm-hmm.
my wife the other day, she says, "Can you do the toy Santa?" I said, "Well, I'll try. Let's do it."
Oh my God. Yeah, 'Twas the Night Before Christmas was always one of my favorite books growing up too, ladies. See. Hey Kyle, good to see you. Oh my God, yeah, the way he laughed and stuff and that. We actually we've been sitting down trying to work around her work schedule because she works so late and I have my live streams and we try to slip in a movie on the nights and I don't have live streams, and we've actually knocked out the first 3 Santa Clauses. So tomorrow night we're going to sit down and actually watch the new Santa Clauses.
Oh, the series! You're going to like it. Yeah, I'm not going to tell you anything about it, but you're going to like it.
Yeah, this is the wrong time of the year for Easter eggs. Oh, now that's something else that tickled me, and we're just about out of time, but I want to touch on this anyway since we're more into you as you right now, and you brought up Tim Allen, the legendary figures group coming up to the North Pole, and the Molinator and Cupid,
yeah.
Father Time. Oh, now see, that would be funny if you had a group of people that actually portrayed some of those different characters. Oh, Lord.
That's quite a different version of what I've ever seen with Santa. To bring it in, bring in Jack Frost too, which was quite interesting. But
oh yeah,
I'll be honest. My very favorite one is Santa Claus the Motion Picture. Was probably one
with
of my
Dudley Moore.
Dudley Moore. I absolutely love that one.
Yep. Yep. Now, Miracle on 34th Street. Which one was your favorite?
The original. Definitely.
Oh, you like the original?
With Natalie Wood in it. Yeah, they're absolutely the best.
We do have a lot in common. Oh, how is Rudolph doing? You've not got to use Rudolph for the last couple of years, have you?
Oh,
it's not been that bad of weather.
Weather hasn't been that bad.
Well, she gets to spend a little bit of time in the stable, just relaxing. Don't gotta lead the sled. I can understand. She probably enjoys that. But all right, guys, it has been 2 hours. I have kept Father Christmas as long as I'm going to keep him. He is busy. He has got 8 days till Christmas, 7 days till he makes his flight. He's got a lot of stuff left to do. My friend, thank you so much for coming in and hanging out with us. I really appreciate it. It was a pleasure. We've got to sit down and chat again sometime soon after the holidays.
After the holidays, let's do it. We'll make a point.
We definitely will. We definitely will. But yeah, I know we actually got one of those nasty bots in here right at the end of the show. Go figure. And it's like I always say, you guys got the wrong room, sexfine.biz. You got to go back out our door, turn to your left, go to the T, turn to your left. It's the 3rd door on your right. So that's the room that you're looking for. This is the wrong kind of love here. So Santa, you take care, my friend. God bless you. Be safe, be healthy. Take care of yourself, and we will talk soon.
Many blessings, Drew.
You too. Everybody else, thank you for coming in tonight. This was definitely epic. This was definitely epic. I loved having Santa here with us. I loved having you guys here. Of course, don't forget, we've got a video coming out on Sunday. We'll have a video coming out Tuesday. We'll have a video coming out Thursday. And then next Sunday on Christmas Day, later in the day, I'll be releasing a video of our Christmas Eve contact with Santa like I do every year. So until next time, you guys all take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. God bless you. God love you. I do. And we will definitely be seeing you guys really soon. Y'all take care. Much love.